according to. If Paul didn't write it, someone else wrote it, and that's why they only put the 4 names, because they didn't know the last names. In fact, the rhetoric continues. With the adoption of the Pauline doctrine and the Nicene Creed by the pagan emperor Constantine, who sought to unite his kingdom by creating an official Christian church, the rhetoric became law through the adoption of the mandate of the Council of Nicaea in the year 325, and this is when the name of Jesus Christ was officially transferred to the pagan, heathenistic Roman civilization. Because we know that until that time the Romans were pure pagans, and Constantine was also a pure pagan. You have to do your own reading. Go to the Encyclopedia Britannica or Americana or any other encyclopedia that you have, because this body of writers called the Encyclopedia Britannica, they're objective historians, writers, sociologists, people who did not collaborate, or people who did not get together and put together something from their own feeling. They did not conspire. No, they came together, more than 726 scholars from around the world, and documented. See what they said about Constantine. See what they said about Paul. And see what they said about the church from a historical point of view. This is absolutely clear that from a historical, scriptural perspective, in the words of Jesus Christ himself, found in the red ink of almost all the Christian Bibles today, because most Christians don't know that in those Bibles where the red ink is at, that is supposed to be the words of Jesus Christ, separated from the black ink, which is the words of others. You will never find in the red ink ever that Jesus Christ said, "I am God, worship me." You will never find in the red ink that Jesus spoke about the Trinity. You will never find in the red ink that Jesus spoke about the atonement. You will never find in the red ink that Jesus Christ spoke about the original sin. You never find anything like that, because that Jesus never said that. And if anybody here has a red ink Bible, bring it to me and you get £1,000 right now. You cannot find it. It is not there, because Jesus Christ never said that. Jesus Christ is not God, not in the literal sense or any other sense. And Jesus Christ is not the Son of God, except as you and I are the sons and daughters of God in a allegorical sense. Jesus Christ is not the person in what is referred to as the Trinity, for he never said anything like that. Jesus Christ did not ask anyone to bow down to him. Jesus Christ never said, "I am God, worship me." Nor did he claim any special powers for himself. He said, "I can of my own self do nothing." Jesus Christ did not have the power to forgive. God gave him the power to forgive. He did say to somebody, "Go away, woman, you have been forgiven." Yes, but God gave him that authority. He had no power on his own to forgive. Nor did he die for the atonement or the salvation of anyone. He never said to his disciples, "I will be crucified, dead and buried, and resurrected again." That came from people who came after him. He never ordered or tolerated the violation or breaking of the laws of Moses. He never justified. He never said to anyone, "There will be a new covenant after me, a new law after me." I read to you 3 references where he said he did not come to change the law, but to fulfill it. He never propagated the idea of the original sin. He never told the people, his followers, to call their names Christians. Jesus Christ was called that prophet from Nazareth. He was called that man from Nazareth. He was called that rabbi. Those were his names: Master, Lord, Rabbi, Jesus of Nazareth. He never called himself or told the people, "Call yourselves after me." Christians. That terminology, Christians, came about through Constantine, who wanted to distinguish the people that accepted his law from those that were following the disciples. Those early followers of Jesus Christ were called Nazarenes. That rhetoric continued through the outlawing and the brutal oppression of the early followers of Jesus Christ, who were mainly from Antioch, who were systematically imprisoned, tortured, and murdered until there was no opposition to the official Christian Church of Rome. So the original followers of Jesus Christ, who never called themselves Christians, systematically, they were imprisoned, they were tortured, and they were murdered until there was no opposition to the new official Christian Church of Rome. In the year 431, the Council of Ephesus declared officially that Mary was promoted as God-bearing, and therefore she was called the Mother of God. So now in the year 431, Mary also got a promotion. She's no longer just the mother of Jesus, now she's the Mother of God, by another decree by the Council of Ephesus. In 1854, Pope Pius IX, who wasn't so pious, made it an article of faith for all Catholics that Mary should be considered immaculately conceived like Jesus. That is, she was born without sperm, although Hannah was her mother and Hannah had a father. But because they wanted to make her, again, co-equal and immaculate, they had to come up with a new concept. So in 1854, it became an article of the Christian Church that all Catholics would have to consider Mary to be the Mother of God and also immaculately conceived. A century later, Pope Pius, another Pope Pius, who was the 12th Pope Pius, pronounced Mary as the Queen of Heaven. Today, if you go on the internet and you look at the Catholic Constitution and you see the various edits that's being made by the Catholic Church in Rome today, you will find that today there are plans to declare that Mary is an equal part of God. So now, not only there will be 3 persons, those 3 persons have to move over and make room for Mary. If that makes sense to you, then everything else should make sense to you. It is very clear that there is absolutely no connection between Jesus Christ and the pagan customs, beliefs, and practices of modern day Christianity. It would be more proper to call it modern day Christology, a science or a system that conjectures and created rhetoric in the name of Jesus Christ. Now let us remember the prayer, the Lord's Prayer. Let us all remember that, because in that Lord's Prayer, Jesus says it all. I also want to mention to you that Jesus did not leave us up in the air. In the Garden of Gethsemane, before he departed from his disciples, after the Last Supper, they asked him, "Oh Master, what will happen to us when you leave us?" He said, "I have to leave you. For if I go not away, the Comforter will not come. The Prince of Peace will not come. But if I go away, and I must go away, the Comforter, the Prince of Peace, he will come. And you will know him when he comes. Because when he comes, he will be called that admirable one. He will speak in my name. He will testify of me. He will teach all things that your hearts and your ears are not prepared for. He will rehearse the law unto you and complete the law unto you. He will enjoin the right and forbid the wrong. He will guide you to all truth. He will speak whatsoever he hears from God, but he will not speak from himself. He will give prophecies of things to come. And what he relates to you will remain with you forever. and he will establish a law and a government. Now, Jesus Christ in his